Hello everyone, in this video we are going to talk about verbal ability, one of the category of aptitude skills. And in verbal ability, the name of the topic is ordering parts of a sentence. So let's go through it. In this video we are going to talk about what are the ordering parts of sentence problems, strategy to deal with these problems, few practice questions, and at the end golden tip. So these problems are basically a sentence is broke into 4 or 5 parts, and we have to logically combine the sentence to make a flawless sentence or grammatically correct sentence. So example is given here. So this is a question. So here we have a sentence which is broken into almost 5 parts, and these parts are: and I am, is Vishwesh, my name, aptitude skills, a trainer of. Options are given, out of which we have to select one. So when we read this and if we try to form a sequential sentence out of it, so we can start with either I am, but it has and initially, so we cannot start with this one. But looking at other options, we can start with this third one, my name. So after my name, obviously this could be the part, my name is Vishwesh, and we can use this and I am, right? And I am a trainer of aptitude skills. So finally we will get a sentence like this: my name is Vishwesh and I am a trainer of aptitude skills. So our answer 32154, which is option C, is right option. So this is how these problems are. Now let's look at the strategy, how we can solve these problems during competitive exams. So step 1 could be read the given options very carefully, understand the parts of a sentence. So we are going to form a sentence out of it. So we have to understand it that way, maybe in a grammatical logical way. Apply the logic to find out the best suitable sequence. That could be the next step, and last one could be check that sequence in given options. And tip here is final sequence, whatever you decide, should be grammatically correct always. Okay, now let's go through the problems, few of the practice problems. So here we have the first problem, and the sentence is starting with when he, and after that we have these 4 options, and we have to decide which is the proper sequence here. Okay, so we can try for this. When he, options are: did not know, he was nervous, and heard the hue and cry at midnight, what to do. So these are 4 options. Now obviously the same could not be the sequence, it doesn't make any sense, that sentence. So maybe the starting point could be he was nervous. Maybe that way we can start: he was nervous and did not know. That could be the next: he was nervous and what to do, did not know. So that cannot be the part, that is Q, S and then P cannot be the sequence. After Q we have to consider P. The sentence could be like this: he was nervous and did not know what to do. And remaining part is heard the hue and cry at midnight. So since this is remaining, we can take this at the end or at the start of the sentence. So let's see how it is getting. Heard the hue and cry at midnight, he was nervous and did not know what to do. That could be one of the sequence, or we can put this at the end. So if we put this part R at the end, let's see how it looks. He was nervous and did not know what to do, heard the hue and cry at midnight. So if we put this part R at the end, it is not making as such any sense. So it should be at the start only. So our sequence could be R, Q, P, S. R, Q, P, S, which is in option A. So option A should be right. Let's check. Yes, option A is right. So this is how we can solve the problem. Let's go for second. In case of second, here we have the sentence, it has been established that, again starting part is already given and we have to decide the sequence of remaining part of that sentence. So let's try to form this. It has been established that Einstein was, although a great scientist, weak in arithmetic right from his school days. So here we can start with maybe Einstein. Okay, so that way let's try to prepare a sentence. It has been established that Einstein was weak in arithmetic right from his school days. So this is how it is making sequence sense. PRS is making a sequence and Q is remaining now, although a great scientist. Now this Q we cannot put at the end because our ending is with S right from his school days, although a great scientist. So this is not making any sense. So it should be at the start. Let's prepare it again. It has been established that although a great scientist, Einstein was weak in arithmetic right from his school days. So this is making sense and the sequence is QPRS and that is option B. Let's check the answer. Option B is right. Let's go for next question. Here again we have a short sentence. We can say, then it struck me, of course, suitable it was, how eminently. Now in this case, if we read the options very well, we can start with then how eminently. We can start with how eminently suitable it was. It struck me, of course. So maybe that is not making as such any sense. We can start with then it struck me. Then it struck me, of course, how eminently suitable it was. So that is also making sense, but not as such a proper sentence, I guess. So let's check for other sequence. Then we can start with Q in this case. Then of course the next could be it struck me, how eminently suitable it was. So this is how we have two sequences. Maybe those are making a little sense, but out of two, if we read them again and again, you can pause the video and practice and check which sentence or which sequence is actually making sense. So that time you will come to know that then of course it struck me. That way we can start. Then of course it struck me how eminently suitable it was. So this is how it is making sequence. So sequence could be QPSR, and that is the last option, option D. Let's check. Yes, option D is right. So in this question we have two sequences which are maybe making sense, but you can pause the video and check for both the options. Let's go for next question. Since the beginning of history have managed to catch the Eskimos and Red Indians by a very difficult method a few specimens of these aquatic animals. So maybe this question looks a little easy than the previous question. So let's try for this. So in this case, since the beginning of history, we can start with, we cannot start with have, we cannot start with by, a few, we can start with the Eskimos. Okay, so let's try to make a sentence. Since the beginning of history, the Eskimos and Red Indians have managed to catch a few specimens of this aquatic animal by a very difficulty method. Okay, so here the sequence could be QPSR. That could be the sequence QPSR, and that is in the option D. Let's check for the answer. Yes, option D is right. Next question. A French woman committed suicide where she had put up who had come to Calcutta by jumping from the first floor balcony of the hotel. Now in this case starting part is given, so we can think of it, and we can think of next option, next sequence part. So it may be R, who had come to Calcutta. Okay, a French woman who had come to Calcutta committed suicide by jumping from the first floor balcony of the hotel where she had put up. That could be the sequence, and that is RPSQ. RPSQ. RPSQ is the option C. Let's check. Option C is right. Okay. Now in this case, other sequence, if we check, a French woman committed suicide who had come to Calcutta where she had put up, but S is remaining. Okay, so if we start with P, we are remaining with S, and that doesn't making any sense. So that way option C should be right only. Let's go for next question. Now in this we have again a starting part. The grocer did not listen to the protests of customer who was in the habit of weighing less, whom he had cheated with great audacity. Okay, so in this case you can practice this, you can check for this, pause the video and check the sequence, proper sequence. I hope you tried for this. So here in this case we can start with Q. The grocer who was in the habit of weighing less. That way we can start. Did not listen to the protests of customer, and remaining two are this, RS, whom he had cheated with great audacity. That could be the sequence. So if we start with Q, then sequence should be QPRS. S should be at the end. QPRS, and that option is option C, QPRS, and it's right. Let's go for next. They felt safer to watch the mountain of more than 5 miles as they settled down from a distance. Okay, pause the video and try this question on your own. I hope you tried for this, and starting part of this could be they felt safer as they settled down. Okay, and after this we can think of as they settled down. It cannot be from a distance of more than 5 miles. It could be this, to watch the mountain. Okay, so as they settled down to watch the mountain from a distance, that could be the next, and last could be Q, of more than 5 miles, from a distance of more than 5 miles. So here the proper sequence should be R, then P, S, Q. Okay, and that option is option A, RPSQ. Option A is right. Next, people at his dispensary went to him of all professions for medicine and treatment. I guess this is a little easy and everyone can do it now. Try for this. So people, we can start with people at his dispensary went to him for medicine and treatment of all professions. No, this is not making any sense. If we start with option Q, people went to him for medicine and treatment of all professions at his dispensary, again that is a mismatch kind of sentence. If we start with option R, okay, so people of all professions, now this is making sense, people of all professions, and then next could be went to him, people of all professions went to him for medicine and treatment at his dispensary. Okay, that could be the right sequence. So our sequence is RQSP, RQSP, and that is option C, RQSP. Option C is right. If you need help promptly and politely ask for attendance to help our customers who have instructions. Okay, now in this case also you can try. This is also easy to medium question, medium level question. Try for this. So in this we can start with Q, ask for attendance. If you need help, ask for attendance. That is very logical. And after ask for attendance, then next logical part could be who have instructions that we may take, okay, to help our customers. Instructions to help our customers promptly and politely is the last part. That could be last part. So here the sequence could be QSRP. QSRP should be the right sequence. QSRP, option C should be right. Yes, option C is right. Let's go for last question. Maybe two more questions if we are remaining with. It is easier to venture into space for men beneath their feet than to explore. It is easier for men, that may be the starting part, to venture into space beneath their feet than to explore. Okay, so maybe starting part could be for men. Okay, the next could be to venture into space. Now we have to deal with R and S, whether it is R or S, starting and middle part and ending part, that we have to decide. So let's check for both. For men, to venture into space than to explore beneath their feet. Is it right, or is it for men to venture into space beneath their feet than to explore? So which one is logical? What do you think? So if you think logically, grammatically correct sentence, then S should be the middle part and last part should be this beneath their feet. Beneath their feet should be the last part. So the proper sequence should be, it is easier for men to venture into space than to explore beneath their feet. So here the sequence becomes QPSR. QPSR, and that is option B. Option B. Let's check. Yes, option B is right. In the last question, here we have, in the darkness, the long, narrow beard was clearly visible with the tall, stooping figure of the doctor and the aquiline nose. These are the options. Think about this. You can pause and try for on your own. So if you think of these options, we can start with maybe the R. In the darkness, the tall, stooping figure of the doctor, and then we can start with this, was clearly visible with the tall, stooping figure of the doctor. The figure of the doctor is clearly visible. That is how the situation is. Was clearly visible with the long, narrow beard and the aquiline nose. So this way the sequence should be right. So we can start with R, then Q, then P, and then S. R, Q, P, S, and that is option A. Option A is right. So this way you can solve all the questions. Practice as much as possible. So in golden tip, that is how I can suggest you all. The key to solve these problems quickly is English grammar. And for English grammar, you can practice as much as possible. The more you practice, the more you can solve the problems correctly as well as quickly. Okay. Thank you for watching the video, and in future we will be posting many more videos on aptitude skills. Thank you.